All right, let's get this show started, man. I've been so anxious. First off, welcome back to Pure Evil MMA. Back in the humble abode, the good space of energy. I mean, I've been feeling really good. I've been realizing a lot of things lately in life, and things are just starting to click. The content is just coming out naturally. It's not forced. I'm loving the vibe. I'm loving the community that we're building here. So if you are new, because I know that we have a whole bunch of new listeners, especially on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Podomatic, Spotify, and all those good places, make sure you subscribe down below because we do this all the time. I get people asking me about, the live show. When are we doing the live shows? Tuesdays. Talk Tuesdays. All right? Talk Tuesdays, and then also Sundays as well. Usually to recap an event. And this weekend, I was at CES 51 out in Lincoln, Rhode Island. Guys, every time I go to these shows, it always puts on even better than some of the UFC cars that we've seen this year. The last two CES events that I've been to have been better than over a dozen UFC cards that we've seen so far this year. And I have so many special guests for us here on today's show, guys. This is going to be, all right, so quick heads up. It is 6:08 here on the East Coast. This is probably going to be roughly about a 2-hour show. I am going to be talking about the UFC fights that did go down last night with some of the fighters. As a matter of fact, we have a UFC fighter who's going to be calling in halfway through today's show, probably more towards the end of today's show. We have Devin Powell, who sat in front of me with his little girl and his wife, who's also a fighter. And we're going to be talking about that. We have Hilarie Rose going to be calling in any minute here. She got a clear victory this weekend, as well as she took on Ivana Mardi Gras Mamba Coleman. She got the TKO in the second round at 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Her family was going sick behind me. Just the vibe, the energy. And it goes both ways. Obviously, I've seen a lot of fighters that I feel not personal with, but, you feel the energy. You have them on the show. You interview them. Even you guys, when you meet a fighter, you have a little connection towards them, or they retweet something of yours. You got to understand what I'm trying to say here. I've seen both sides of it. We saw it this weekend with Shorty Torres. You got your fingers crossed. You hope he does well. And then, his undefeated streak gets cut just like that. And we're going to be talking about that as well. So we have Fabio Cherant. He's going to be calling in about 6:35, just about 20 minutes here. Every interview is going to be about 10 minutes long, about 5 to 10 minutes long. Sometimes it goes over, but we can't let that happen for some of these interviews because after Fabio calls in at 6:35, Dinis Paiva, Sweetbread, he's going to be calling in. This guy is one of the faces of CES. He was there ringside this weekend as well. And CES always has some of the biggest names and faces of the East Coast showing up to these events. The last event I was at, they had Nick Newell there. I believe Justin the Fort Sumner was there, who was just on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. Didn't get the contract. We'll also be bringing that back up at some point on today's show. But man, Matt Bassett, Chris O'Brien, the Bearded Dragon, and I'm going to be dropping the Fight Companion, the live-action Fight Companion that I've been recording with the GoPro. So since this is live, if you guys have any questions, make sure to drop it in the chat room here. I got that pulled up here. So we got Henry Ford already tuning in. Let me pull this down for you guys. You can't even see it yet. We got Henry Ford checking in, and Stewie motherfucking Griffin. Champs here. Champs here. And guys, this weekend's event, man, I don't know if you guys saw the recap show yet. Got to meet up with, obviously, Chris from the MMA Holes. We brought up with Brian Gerson of MMA Sucka and Steve Domenico of Domenico 101. And we recapped this card. I gave it an 8 out of 10. So I'm really interested to see what some of these fighters are going to be saying. But before Hilarie Rose calls in, I think we got about a minute here. Those fights last night, Cody No Love. Well, first, let's not even start with Cody No Love. How about my boy Henry Cejudo? So it was the last UFC Pick'em card of ever, which is really sad. And shout out to my UFC Pick'em family out there for always putting on. We've had some amazing memories. But last night it closed out, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with all the underdogs tonight. Fuck it. I'm going to go sick tonight. Yeah, that didn't work in my favor until Henry Cejudo. Literally, I know I was kind of jumping into it because it was the last one. I wanted to give the underdogs, root for the underdog. I got 2 out of 12 right. But Henry Cejudo making me some big money last night, man. At a plus 400 underdog. Absolutely killed it. So going in there, stopping history from Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. It's just crazy. Like, if you think of the way things should have worked or could have worked, which you shouldn't live life like that, you know, I really still want to see Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson versus TJ Dillashaw. Does no one else want to see that fight? I would still love to see that fight. Wicked World checking in. What's up, Wicked World? Thanks for tuning in, man. Yeah, let's get Hilarie in here. You know what, maybe... here she is. She's texting me right now. Let's see, like, did I... Oh, I told her 6:20. All right. So let's do it. That's good. 6:20. All right, 6:20. A little confusion on my end there. So, yeah, guys, fucking Henry Cejudo going in there. And this is the feeling, this is a vibe I had in that very first fight that they had. And that was 2 years ago. And you have to remember that Henry Cejudo, not only does he have a great wrestling background, but once he lost to Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, he coached an entire fucking season training guys on literally tactics of how you may be able to get past the unstoppable Mighty Mouse. They had an entire season dedicated to beating Mighty Mouse. And Tim Elliott came pretty damn close. He came closer than anyone we've seen before. I mean, there was that John Dodson fight. And let this be known. No brownie points lost for Mighty Mouse whatsoever. Everyone in the MMA community had him last night. People were saying I was crazy for picking Henry Cejudo. Big shout out to our girl Leslie, though. She was on board with the Cejudo train. And you gotta remember, this is the goal in that weight division. Everyone is training to beat that one guy. It's just like we saw in the female bantamweight division with Ronda Rousey. And Mighty Mouse is not, you know, an armbar specialist or anything, but just like even his center of gravity, like he's just so on. And the fact that Henry Cejudo was able to beat this guy and stop him. I mean, Mighty Mouse beat Anderson Silva's title defense record. You know how crazy that is? Do you have any idea what an accomplishment that is? We may never, ever... Who out there, raise your hand, who out there thinks Henry Cejudo is going to defend the title 12 times? Let me see your hands. Yeah, none of you. And if you do think that, and that would be great. I mean, I really shouldn't be saying he can't do it. That's not the right vibe. But my point being, what Mighty Mouse has accomplished, that doesn't come very often. And what we got to witness, and a lot of people didn't witness because every time Mighty Mouse fought, the numbers were extremely low. I'm even more excited to see him get a comeback here. The question is, should Henry Cejudo versus Mighty Mouse 3 go down now? That would only be fair, right? Mighty Mouse is like, you know what, I'm going to give this guy another chance. There's really no one else for me to fight. I mean, yeah, there's a couple of names making their way up, but are they ready for this? Are they ready for this? I think Henry Cejudo is the right call here out of everybody in that weight division right now. I mean, even Little Pettis, I was like, is it too soon for him? But now that's on the table. I mean, Henry Cejudo, man, what a huge win for Henry, man. And if nobody remembers what recently happened with the wildfires that happened in his area, he had like 3rd-degree burns on his feet. I mean, he lost his Olympic medals. Fucking brutal, man. So congratulations, Henry Cejudo. There are people out there saying, and I haven't got an update yet, but there are people saying that Henry Cejudo still hasn't made a statement yet. Like, and I don't blame him. I mean, take this moment in. Yeah, if there's people waiting for your tweets and judging, like, oh, the dude, what a douchebag. He didn't tweet out a statement or say, you know, congratulations or thank you for this opportunity, Mighty Mouse, which he will. He'll definitely get around to. And it would look classy if he did that immediately, like Mighty Mouse did, let me mention. Mighty Mouse immediately was like, you know, let me thank my sponsors. And he did the championship way. True champion right there. True veteran. But Henry Cejudo, man, let him enjoy this moment. No one's been able to, since this division has opened up, in case you are new to the sport, I mean, oh man, since this division was opened up, you had Ian McCall in there versus Mighty Mouse. Ian McCall almost beat Mighty Mouse. In my book, that night, Ian McCall won on my scorecard. But Mighty Mouse gets the belt, and he hasn't let go of it since. He gave everybody a second chance. And now Henry Cejudo, I think, owes him a third shot. But is that what you guys want to see? Let me know on Twitter, evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. And also on Instagram, _MMA_. Also on Facebook. Yes, we're back on Facebook. I love it. So happy to be back there. Back at home. So we're about 3 minutes out until Hilarie Rose calls us. What about TJ Dillashaw versus Cody No Love, though? Man, I heard a lot of people out there saying UFC doesn't want TJ to defend the title. They want Cody No Love to win. I mean, you can even see I got Cody's book behind me there. You know, he has like a championship personality, like a champion personality that is definitely marketable. He has a very exciting fight style. Did we see that same fight style last night? And should we pass judgment on that as well? Because I even said it. I was like, you know, I think I believe Cody was a little bit too emotional in that second round, in that first fight, even in the first round. But that's what brings people to the table. That's what gets you to the edge of your seat. And that was kind of his niche, like, through a lot of these fights here, to get that title shot in the first place against Dominic Cruz. Now I'm also seeing people saying, Dominic Cruz was also injured during that fight. Dominic Cruz has been injured forever, guys. Dominic Cruz has been injured for years. He's defended the title injured plenty of times. He is getting a little older. I still think. And what do you guys think about this? Do you think Dominic Cruz next for TJ? I mean, I'm sure TJ wants to make things clear and be like, no, dude, I'm the real champ. Yeah, you beat me on the judges' scorecards. We're not going to let that happen here. To get a knockout over Cody No Love in the first round, I mean, TJ Dillashaw, man, he's been doing it time and time again. Very exciting champion. If you were looking for somebody that, is just going to trash talk and can go in there, yeah, Cody's your guy. He's going to do that. But TJ Dillashaw gets better and better every fight. Somebody brought it up to me. They're like, Eddie, do you realize the path that TJ's been on? I mean, even when he was on The Ultimate Fighter, I remember all my friends being like, oh, who is this kid? This kid's cocky. He thinks who he is. He gets to the finale, and he loses to John Dodson. Brutally. Gets knocked out by John Dodson. After that, every fight, he gets better and better. Working at Team Alpha Male. He branches off, and yeah, there was that whole beef. Finally, we can say that's settled. I mean, we can't bring that back up. That beef needs to be long gone behind us at this point after this rematch. If there's any story to build for Cody, it's the redemption of it all, really. And you know what? He is young. You got to remember this. Cody No Love came into the game with like 4 fights. Uriah Faber was like, listen, get 4 fights under your belt. I'll get you in the UFC. Kid came in the UFC like a freaking storm, man. And what he's done inside the octagon has been extremely impressive, especially with little Maddox Maple there. It just adds to the whole element, the vibe. But TJ Dillashaw doing it right, looking amazing, taking out Rafaela Sunsao as well. So it looks like we got Hilarie Rose calling in. Hilarie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for calling in to Pure Evil MMA. First off, I need to lead off with this, though. You have such a supportive family. Like, your family was probably the loudest family out of anybody there at CES. And I got blessed. They sat right behind me. And also I had Devin Powell and his wife sit in front of me. So I had your legit fan club right there. And it just added so much to
crazy.
it. Like, immediately your father ran up to me after the fight, even before the fight was over, because he ran up to me. He was like, hey, what do you work for, a magazine? And I gave him a little rundown of what I do. And I believe I tried reaching out to you on the last event. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get you onto the show. But here you are now, and you made a splash at CES. First off, how did you celebrate? We're going to talk about the fight, but how did you celebrate afterwards?
I went home and I hung out with my boyfriend. I didn't do anything exciting at all. I'm pretty lame. The first thing I thought was, I'm pretty early in the card. I can go home relatively early and hang out and eat pizza.
Sometimes that's like the best thing, though. Like, I'm a people person, but like, honestly, if I want to be the happiest, I'm probably going to do the same thing you did. Go home with somebody I care about. And, you got your moment inside the cage there. So that was just an amazing moment. Did it feel surreal to you? Like, you were working really hard to get that finish there in the second round. And it came by TKO, round number 2, at 3 minutes and 14 seconds. And it just seemed like a huge stress was off your back. Like, you sat down and kind of took it in. Am I right analyzing that?
You are definitely right. I went from camp to camp, so, I fought on the CES 50 card, so I was pretty pumped that I was able to get on the CES 51 card. So I think it was just a total, physical, mental dump of just going from camp to camp. That girl was holding on to me for dear life. No one has ever hugged me that hard. So I think it was just, letting my body go of all the stress and, leaving it all there literally in the cage.
And you got a takedown in the first round at the first minute, and you held it out. I was even, I was right there. I was like, this could be a 10-8 round. Where were you at going into the corner? What was your coaches saying to you? Obviously, they were clear you won that round, but where was your head at?
They were telling me to keep it on the feet. I still lack this. I really love striking, and I love fighting, but I never seem to throw my hands when it comes to a fight. So that's still, a learning lesson that absorbing and getting every fight, that I need to just pull the trigger and be confident in my hands and not just my feet. I really love to throw kicks, which obviously I was showing in the fight, but not being afraid to throw my hands. And I probably could have knocked her out on the feet, but I guess I felt comfortable enough to go to the ground. My body just kind of reacted and was just going through the motions.
And if I remember correctly, I think you were throwing a couple of low kicks, and then you finally got that takedown in the first round. And then did you, how hard were you trying to get that finish there? Did you kind of just, try to ride it out there at the end? Because it really seemed like you were just dominating her. She was holding on for dear life, and the clock was running out. You were on top of her for 4 minutes. That had to be exhausting.
Yeah, it was definitely exhausting. I definitely didn't think I was going to get the finish. I mean, I was hoping, but I never had just enough space. I wasn't, peeling the elbow like I should have. Things I definitely learned watching myself fight, or, just being in that situation that I need to work on. Someone just holding me down, how to posture up and break that. That girl was holding on so hard. So I was just trying to stay busy as long as I could, and if the opening was there, then to try to posture up and punch. I was just kind of smothering her mouth and just punching in small elbows. Nothing that felt too damaging enough to finish. I mean, she wasn't coming back with anything, and the ref was definitely warning her, but nothing that I think would have finished it. So I knew I needed to do that in the second round.
And going into that second round, you landed a really nice heavy knee in the clinch, and then you finally got the TKO. So here you go. I mean, that moment right there, the crowd exploded.
It's an awesome feeling. It's really cool to fight at Twin River and be able to have a lot of family and friends be able to get there, because it's not too far. I fought in other places, New York and Philly, so being able to be home and have a lot of fights at home is really cool. And I'm able to have all my friends and family there, so that's awesome.
Well, I know when they were setting this fight up, they were really looking forward for you to go in there and put on another exciting performance. I mean, you got one submission win, and now you got the TKO. Did you feel a little pressure, like they're expecting that win from me, and maybe if I get that, they'll boost me up on the next card?
I think I put that on myself. It's not so much impressing everybody else. I think I want to get that really dominant win and to put on a performance. You never know how a fight's going to go. I had a different opponent 2 weeks before the fight, and then I got somebody new, so I wasn't really looking in much to who she was. I didn't know much about her, so I knew that she had fights 10 years ago. So it was more that I definitely wanted to win, get a quick finish, and finish off my summer just hanging out.
And shout out to her coming all the way from New Orleans, I believe. That's a far trip. I mean, and to come into somebody's backyard pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. The last girl I fought too, she had come from Florida, so it's cool to see other fighters from around the country, and to share that cool experience. I mean, win or lose, it's really awesome to meet other girls who like to fight.
So, Hilarie, obviously you weren't the only girl on this card. There was another female fight with Marissa the Spider Monkey Messer Valencia. Do you know anything about her? Have you heard about her before, or were you able to catch her fight?
I've never seen any of her fights. I know that she's a little smaller weight class than me, but I think she's fought at 15 before too. I've seen a few of her fights. I know she comes very forward, definitely from the fight I saw the other day. And she likes to just, she seems small but very strong and confident, and that's, it's really cool to see, other girls like that in this area, ready to fight.
So we are about a little more than halfway through the year right now. Do you think you're going to get another fight in before December?
Yes, without a doubt. I'm hoping, I think CES has another card coming up in November, so it'd be nice to have a little break. My MMA coach gets married in about a week and a half, and I'm in his wedding, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll be able to hang out and chill, but then ready to get right back in the gym and to train. And I'm pretty sure November is definitely what I've heard was next for CES, so I'm hoping to get on that card.
So what is this week going to be looking like to you? I know a lot of people out there get interested, like, what do fighters do after, they get a win? Or do you just kind of hang out, or do you feel like, I got to get back in the gym, like there's like an itch there?
Yeah, I'll definitely be at the gym. I work at my gym. I teach the kids program, and I teach some jiu-jitsu classes and some Muay Thai, kickboxing classes. So I'll be there all week, and it's always cool. I like to go to the gym after a fight because, it's good to get all that good energy. You see everybody with the fight and some people who you didn't see. So, it's all a good congrats and good energy all week. And I'm having a teammate fighting next week for wartime. So it'll be fun to be in there and mix it up with him and see him get ready for Saturday.
So who did your hair before the fight? Your hair definitely looked amazing, by the way.
That would be my best friend, Sarah McConey-itis. They're one of my sponsors, actually, Deluxe, out of Medway. They do my hair every single time, and they do it better every single time. It's awesome.
Yeah, I just pulled their Instagram up for everybody. You can follow it at Sarah _ this is a tough one, Sarah _ BLUXE hair and makeup. So make sure you give them a follow. I mean, that's like one of the most exciting parts about fight night, I guess, like getting ready for the fight, like,
that's
getting
my
your hair.
favorite part. I told her that the other day. I was like, my favorite part is when I go and sit down and get my hair braided by you, because it's kind of like that calm before the storm. You're getting ready for war. It's awesome, and it's different every single time.
So, last question here, and I know there's another guest about to call in, but I definitely need to ask you this one last thing here. Obviously you're training locally. Would you like to see CES kind of branch out a little bit and bring another opponent in from, out of the, out of state?
This local area?
Yeah.
Or out of state?
Yeah.
I'm really willing to fight anybody. I don't make those decisions. Ultimately, my coaches and my managers, they make that decision. But, I love to fight, and I'm willing to fight anybody, obviously. After my first loss as a pro, I'm really motivated and confident to get better. So I'm happy to fight, anybody. People, I've had a few moments on social media where people are like, oh, we were supposed to fight and this and that, but I don't make that decision ultimately. I just show up to fight and win, and that's about it.
Well, I want to thank you so much for calling into Pure Evil MMA. We're looking forward to what happens next. You definitely put on an amazing performance. And last but not least, shout out to your coach as well over at the US MMA, because very nice team.
Versus Matt Martin. They are the best there is around this area, and I'm grateful to have them. They've literally coached me since I was 14 years old, so it's awesome to have them in my corner.
So, Hilarie, where can people find you? Like, are you on Twitter as well?
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I have a Twitter, but I've still yet to figure out how to use it. I'm kind of like a social media loser, so I'm trying to get better at that.
I see you guys always having fun on your Instagram, at least, because, like, you guys doing, like, the backpack kid dance and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so.
Always.
It looks like a fun time. So we're looking forward to see what happens next with you. Thank you so much, Hilarie, for calling in, and God bless.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. All right, guys. Hilarie Rose. I love that name. My grandmother's name is Anna Rose. So Rose is like a badass name to me. I always think of Beauty and the Beast. I was thinking of that Rose, like falling apart, waiting for true love. And we got Thug Rose. I mean, Thug Rose, that's a fucking badass name. So now Rose is just like I'm loving the name. Like, it's just cemented as like a badass female name. So Hilarie Rose getting it done, going 2-1, one submission finish, and gets the TKO at round number 2. Calling in next, guys, we have Fabio Cherant calling in at 6:35, just about 4 minutes out here. And just a preview after that, we're going to have Dinis Sweetbread Paiva calling in, and then Coach Andrew Calandrelli fighting out of here in New Haven. I mean, New Haven, stand up. Even though we had a loss with Nick Newell on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, and shout out to Nick. I saw his post right before he left Vegas. He was like, we hate Vegas, but we're coming back home. And I know they didn't get the contract. And I want to know if you guys think that do you think that UFC may give him another chance, or was that it? They gave Nick Newell his chance, Dana White's using the Contender Series, and that's it. Let me know what you think on Instagram at @PureEvilMMA_ and on Twitter, evil_echo. So Steve Sparks checking in saying, I don't think Cruz even makes it to the championship rounds if him and TJ run it back. How about that? You know what? And like I said, I scored that fight for TJ Dillashaw, without a doubt. If you guys go back and watch that card, the judges were on that night. There was a lot of fights that night that I was like, that guy definitely fucking won. And the judges had it completely opposite of what I had. Upon review of the fight, then I understood why Dominic Cruz, got the wave. But it was already in my head that he won. So I don't know what's next for TJ Dillashaw. I am definitely upset that I'm not upset that Mighty Mouse lost, but I definitely want to see TJ versus Mighty Mouse. That got me excited, man. And now that Cody Nolov, like, who else in that division right now? There's Marlon. There's Marlon Moraes, who just took out freaking Jimmy Rivera, who was on like a 20-fight win streak. Marlon Moraes, I remember seeing him at like, the local shows, World Series of Fighting, and even, the local shows like, places like CES, a Lion Fight. And it's cool to see people come up. That's one of the most exciting things ever. Matt Bissett, watching him come up, watching people's dreams come true. That's like the most important thing. That's good energy to be around. Like, to watch these fighters and everything they have to go through. Like, take Shorty Torres, for example. The run that he had, everything that he could do at Titan FC, gets the wins, moves up a weight division, just everything. Training alongside TJ Dillashaw, Cub Swanson, Tim Elliott, Joseph Benavidez, doing all the right things. He finally makes it to the UFC. He has a rocky first fight, and he got a lot of attention on ESPN, obviously, or Sports Center, with that the finish that he had, which he held on to his opponent, and his opponent literally just knocked himself out in that first fight. So Shorty really had a lot of eyes on him to put on. And let me tell you this, man, freaking Perez had a set of hands on him. He was lighting Shorty Torres up. It was hard to watch. But you know what? It's the sport. That's what happens. Only one person can win. And I love the way that Shorty responded to it all. Like, he had a very classy tweet. He was like, after 36 wins, it was only a matter of time before I got this loss. And a big shout out, like, he took the photo with him and Perez afterwards. I mean, he's just such a great sport. People are always telling him he looks like Kelvin Gastelum. And let me pull up his tweet here, because I just want to read it off to everybody. All right, so there's two tweets here. He says, at Shorty Torres, after 34 straight wins, a loss was bound to happen. Shout out to Alex Perez for their amazing performance. Time to go home and finally take a much-needed break. I hope you all enjoyed the fight. And again, thank you so much for all the constant support. What a class act. And then his last post here on Twitter, posted 4 hours ago. It's a quote, and it says, "We are all after the same goal. It just so happens we are all in each other's way." And then he responds to that quote saying, "It's a sport, and with that being said, you'll win some and you'll lose some. That's how it works. But you should always show respect. I hope everyone enjoyed the show we gave. Hashtag Team Shorty, hashtag respect." And then he posted up the picture of him and Perez. I mean, what a guy, man. The champ, the Titan FC champ, man. And I just hope big things for him, man. To see somebody go through what he's gone through. And there's doubters. Like, there are people out there. You know what I realized last night when I went out? And I probably don't even have time for this rant because Fabio's about to call in. It's like you cannot surround yourself with people who are giving off the energy that don't support or believe in your ambitions. And they're not, helping fuel that fire. It pisses me off, man. I am so blessed to be sitting here and to be able to talk to these world-class fighters on my show. They are so inspirational. I talk about this all the time, man. It's what life's all about. You know, last night I went out with my friends. I was, you know, keeping up with the fights, but they don't fucking watch the fights. So it's like, you know, I'm watching it by myself pretty much. And I try to show them that respect. Like, I understand you guys don't like fights, but, like, this is what I do. I need to know what's going on. Like, I got some shit going on, like, with my show and my website. And, you know what I mean? Like, I need to know what's going on, but I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to show respect and, you know, hang out, be with the boys. I just feel like there's so many people out there just don't respect it. They're not giving me that energy. Why am I going to put myself around people that have, first off, no idea? They've never watched a minute of what I do here. It just doesn't make any sense why you would put yourself around that. And the fact that it's your friends and your family, that's just toxic. But as long as I'm happy living a healthy lifestyle, talking to these fighters, motivate me. I mean, come on. Just that right there, what I read off to you with Shorty Torres, what he went through. Fuck, I didn't have a fucking bad night. I'm living the dream right now. Shorty Torres had a rough night last night. And he's fucking happy. I have nothing to complain about. I got nothing but blessings to count at this point in my life. All right, so let's give Fabio a call here. Let's give him a message here. Fabio Cherant, 6:35. It's now 6:38. Fabio, where you at, dog? All right, here, let's get him on. All right, call in. And I can't give you guys my number, but I'll give Fabio my number really quick. And guys, Fabio Cherant, man, his last fight on the main card for CES at the last event, he gets the finish. And here in this fight, he went in there and got another finish. Fabio Cherant, rear naked choke. 2 minutes and 43 seconds of the first mother effing round. That's how it's done. And like I was saying at the beginning of the show, here he is. CES, the prelims, always killer, always finishes. Here he is, the Water Buffalo, Fabio Cherant, moving to 3-0. What's going on, Fabio? How you doing, brother?
Nothing much, my man. Just hanging out, enjoying life, you know.
Yo, first off, before we even talk about your fight, I can totally... You know, I've been checking out your Instagram. It looks like you're having a really fun time. What is this 4-beer challenge I see you doing? I've never seen that before.
Either have I, you know.
You almost did it, too. You were close.
Yeah, I know, but I can't do it. I couldn't do it. But, hey, if anybody else can do it, do it. You know, it's funny. It's funny, and, I mean, if you're of age, you know, obviously, but... definitely not possible. It's tough. Four beers, funnel it, and try and drink all of it all at once. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, that's worse than the strikeout. I mean, you just had a fight, so I'm sure you were like pumped to do it, and you almost finished it off. I was actually pretty impressed with it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So obviously, let's talk about your fight, man. You went in there, you got the finish in the very first round. Is that something that you were aiming for? Were you aiming for that first round finish, or like always, were you just, you know, putting it in God's hands?
Hey, I don't get paid by the other. You know,
yeah.
No. I was going into that fight. We knew Buck he's a game opponent. He shows up, he's ready to go. You know, and our game was to make him throw it, make him throw what he has to throw, make him miss, you know, move around, find opportunity, take him down, punish him on the ground. I mean, I wasn't expecting to finish that fast, but shit happens, you know.
Man, and you had a really nice, like, leaping right, and then finally you got the takedown, you got the full mount. Did you know as soon as you got the full mount, like, it was over, it was only a matter of time?
No, not really. Like I said, it's a fight game, you know, anything can happen. So I was just prepared for wherever he tried to transition out of, you know. But once I like actually sunk in the choke, you know, that's when I was like, all right, word. But like, I was a little nervous because I felt a little hot too high when I was on his back, and I didn't feel like I could secure the choke because I couldn't really flatten him out too well. So I was nervous, but I mean, at the end of the day, I got it done.
And now you're 3-0. You got 3 submissions. I think it's time they put you on that main card. And you were on the main card for the last event. You got some, notoriety with being on the, the Facebook. You definitely agree with me here. I think it's time for you to be on the main card. Is that where your team's at here, or where's your team at after the fight?
Obviously, I would love to, but I'll fight wherever I get put on. It's just I'm young. I'm still a nobody. So like I don't expect people to put me on certain positions of fight card because of 3 fights. To me, I'm a nobody. I still have a lot to prove. I still have a lot of learning to do. So wherever they decide to put me, I'll be happy with it. It's one step at a time.
And obviously, I mean, we got a couple of months left before the end of the year. There's a CES card coming up in a couple of months. Are you trying to get on that next upcoming CES card, or are you going to take a break? What's the plan looking like here for Fabio?
Trying to get that 4-beer funnel challenge done.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I'm taking a little break right now, but my plans are to, learn, get better. But also, like every fighter says they're gonna take a break, and then that itch comes, and you're like, all right, fuck, I want to fight. But I talked to my coaches, and everybody agreed that taking a little break would be best. I'm 23. I'm in no hurry. I'm 3-0. What a better way to start off the year. Went pro back in January. I fought 3 times in 8 months, so basically 7 months, and I successfully did what I wanted to do. 3 fights, undefeated. I kind of want to take a break, and then see what happens. If opportunity comes where something happens I can't deny, I'm definitely open to it. But at the moment, I'm just hanging out.
Well, Fabio, I saw I believe it was your Facebook page, and it sounds like there's other promotions or something hitting you up, and you were pretty loyal in your response. You're like, I only want to fight for CES. Like, unless it's... what's going on? Yeah, let us in.
Not even 4 hours after my fight, I got promotions. Like, people hit me up about fighting for them and stuff like that in November. I'm like, no, I'm all set. If I haven't fought for that promotion before, then I'm never gonna fight. Never gonna fight for you. Like, I'm right now. I've been fighting for CES, but I fight for CES or Cage Titans, one of those two. Obviously, a bigger promotion, I would take that. But besides that, CES, Cage Titans are the only promotions I'll fight for in the local scene.
So we don't get to see much of what goes on backstage, and I hear it from a lot of fighters, like with the Bellator backstage. What is the CES backstage like? Is it a nice community back there? What's the vibe like?
Man, you can ask some of the fighters that are back there with me. I do my own thing, I just dance and yeah, I'm a weird kid.
By the way, By the way, Fabio, I got a whole bunch of footage of you dancing inside the cage that I'm going to be uploading with the fight companion. You were feeling the vibe, man. I was loving that.
Yeah, that's who I am, man. I try to be different. I don't want to be like a lot of people that fight. They have that badass persona when they're not really badasses. So I just try and be myself, and like I said, when we're in the back, most people are like hitting mitts, getting ready, shooting the shit. I usually just do my own thing, dance, listen to music, or I'll joke around with my coaches and stuff like that. But it's a good environment, for sure. I don't feel uncomfortable being back there, and it's a lot of familiar faces I see, so it's very nice.
So you got to explain this photo on your Instagram, man. When you signed this contract, what are you in, like a golf cart? Like at a baseball field? What is this?
So I was at a every year I volunteer for this thing I do for my old football coach, and it's like a mini camp for little kids getting ready to play football, and they'll come play football for their oncoming season. So I'll go and I'll help out and volunteer for the coaches and stuff like that. And sometimes we just drive around in a golf cart, like driving around, like picking stuff up. And I just found the opportunity to make something funny, so I did it.
See, yes, blasted it out everywhere. And your Instagram has some really funny photos, like you on that American bald eagle raft. And yeah. I mean, it's pretty classic.
Yeah, man, I'm a different individual. So,
and that's what sticks out. Like you need stuff like that in this industry. Like you stick out. You have the persona, you have the vibe, and you have the finishes to back it up right now too.
Yes, sir. I mean, the only thing I really don't like about the whole, like I said, I do my own thing. I just don't like to talk behind it. Like I've been getting tagged in a lot of stuff. Like, am I the next big thing? Crap like that. I mean, like I said, I'm a nobody. I'm not the next big thing. There's somebody around the corner that's waiting to do the same thing I'm doing. There's other people that are doing what I'm doing, same record,
Yeah, but look where you're at right now, man. Like,
it's cool. It's cool to get the recognition, but I don't think I'm the right person for that title,
I mean, you could be saying, it might be too soon, but why not you? Like, why, everyone is chasing after something. Like, there's somebody chasing after, my media dream job. Like, why not me? I'm talented. I can make that. I can fill that spot,
For me, I'm chasing a title, just being different. That's what I want to chase after, is just be different. When people talk about me, I want people to think of how different of a fighter I was the most, personality, just everything, not just fighting. Like, I want people to know who I am because of Fabio Cherant, of just being a weirdo,
Fabio, before we let you go here, man, I think it's only right to ask you if you were able to catch up with your opponent backstage after the fight went down.
I was. He's a very nice guy,
Buck Pano?
Yeah, we talked for a few minutes. He's a good guy, he's a crazy bastard, he's throwing a lot of stuff at me. I haven't seen in a fight yet, but yeah, we shot the shit, and he's a very respectable guy, can't really give any hate towards him.
Fabio, thank you so much for joining us here once again on Pure Evil MMA. I cannot wait to see you back in there, man, and have a blessed day. Hopefully we'll get that 4-beer challenge down pat, though, right?
Hell yeah.
Have a blessed night, Fabio.
You too. Bye-bye.
So there you go. These goddamn dogs. These animals. I don't know if you guys can hear the animals, but they barking. They barking right now. I don't like when the dogs bark. Because I got the headphones on, so it goes right through me. But Fabio Cherant, man, I mean, we had him on before not the last fight, but the fight before that, training under Prime Athletics. If you guys tuned in the Lion Fight pre-show or post-show, my co-host of the night was Mr. Sean Rockwell. That is Mr. Sean Rockwell's fighter right there, Fabio Cherant. And shout out to Prime Athletic. They're trying to get me to go out to the Invicta FC card coming up. Invicta FC 31 is one of the most stacked cards first off, the most stacked female card of the year, and one of the most stacked Invicta cards I've ever seen, especially lately. Really quick, next guest isn't for another 9 minutes. We got Dennis Sweetbread Paiva, whose coach, Mark Delagrati, was just on Rogan's podcast a couple of days ago. So we got a lot to talk about here. Let me pull this up, though, because this girl, Mallory Martin, if you guys don't know who Mallory Martin is yet, you are so behind on the female status bar there. Mallory Martin is going to be fighting Ashley Nichols for a strawweight bout. It's going down at Invicta FC September 1st. That's not the headliner, though. Check the headliner out. Verona Jurdaroba versus Janasiah Moradin. And then Pearl Gonzalez, crush. Wifey right there. Wifey status. Against Diane Firmino. Also on this card, Lindsay Van Zant versus Kelly D'Angelo. Now, Van Zant, another girl from Prime Athletics. Mallory Martin was actually supposed to fight at the last CES card, but her opponent was unable to make weight. I didn't want to bother about that out. Oh, now I know why the dogs are barking. My little cousin was just here. We were actually watching some Shane Dawson's conspiracy videos before I went live. They just went in the pool, her and her friend. Did a little smoke. Man, I don't know about you guys, but man, I love my THC. I don't even smoke the flower anymore. I just smoke the oil. Like, this is just the adult way to smoke weed now. It really is. It hit that shit in the middle of Starbucks. Like, it's so perfect. It's so perfect. I love it. But guys, also Devin Powell's going to be calling in just a little bit to end the show off. I'm looking forward to that because John Gunther from The Ultimate Fighter Season 27, the llama guy, the guy with the mustache, looks like Gangs of New York, Daniel Day-Lewis. Well, Devin Powell is calling him out. And I would love to see that fight go down. What do you think? Let's get some questions up in the chat room here, or tweet me on Twitter at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. But let me get back on track here with what I was just talking about with the Invicta FC card. Mallory Martin, man, and let me pull up her profile. She's active right now. I mean, I could just call her. She'd probably get mad. But she, you got to check out her profile because she does this thing called the scare cam. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. You guys always hear me saying, like, you know, fighters this day and age, not only do you have to be winning fights, but you have to have somewhat of a media presence, social media presence for sure. Those are the people that are going to be interested to tune into your fight, not the people that hear about you, you know, by word of mouth. This is where it's at, the gram. You know, Twitter is great, but the gram, especially for the females, or especially for, you know, people going to the gym and working out and looking good, you can't go wrong on the gram. So make sure you guys are following Mallory Martin at Mallory, MALLORYY _Martin, MARTIN. Man, I am rooting for this girl like you have no idea. Training over with Team Zinganu, Tiger Muay Thai. And she has a saying, like her, and her manager is fucking Ruby. Come on. It just doesn't get any better than that. Nobody can save you. No one can save you. Keep your eye on Mallory Martin if you know what's good here. I never steer you guys wrong. This is somebody that's caught my eye. And, man, big things coming. Very upsetting that she was not able to get that last fight on the CS. Shout out to Mohad Foodala as well, who we've had on the show a while ago. This is the UFC cartoon guy. He makes all these amazing videos. Well, he just made one for Cody Nola versus TJ Dillashaw. So make sure you guys go check that out. And if you want to hear, you know, about the man who actually makes these videos, we had him on Pure Evil MMA a few months back. He is such a laid-back, cool guy. Man, nothing but nice things to say about him. And the response that he's had this year has just been phenomenal. I mean, 2017, 2018 has been huge for a lot of people I've seen come up. It's very exciting times. And while I'm on the shout-out train, let me give a huge shout-out to Phoenix Carnival. I mean, this girl doesn't get as much respect as she really deserves here. You know, doing what she does for Access TV. This was somebody that used to be, you know, right on press row, right with us. And she's followed the game. She's got perfect sponsors. She was just on the MMA Beat with Luke Thomas. She's always on the UFC podcast with Matt Serra to fill in for Jim Norton. Honestly, I like her better than Jim Norton. I like Matt Serra and Phoenix. I think that's a perfect couple right there as far as podcast goes. Jim Norton, don't get me wrong, he cracks me up sometimes. I just don't think the MMA thing is for him. And I don't want to be a doubter. I don't want to be that guy. That's just my preference. That's just my opinion. I love the guy. I support him. I've seen a lot of his work. And I listen to every episode. But I'm just saying, I really enjoy what Phoenix does. And I think she deserves more of a shout-out here. I gave her a shout-out the other night at CES. You know, she's doing all the ring announcements, all the backstage interviews. That's tough. There are people out there that just think, you know, oh, I could do that. Oh, dude, if you only knew how hard a lot of this shit really is, even just putting together the show. Like, I do this all by myself. Like, yeah, I'm a part of MyMMAnews.com and everything, but I set all the interviews up myself. I'm the one that's reaching out and, to set up a show like this, like what we got going on right now, to get all these guys last minute and this many people within, an hour and a half. Man, I feel super blessed. Hilarie Rose, Fabio Cherant, Dinis Paiva, Andrew Calandrelli, Double MB, Marissa Messer-Valencia, and Devin Powell. I organized this just this weekend, just from Friday night, the moment that Hilarie Rose won and her father came up to me. I believe it was her father, one of her family members, came up to me. I even got it on the GoPro, which is really funny. And that's going to be up on the Fight Companion as well. But, man, I feel so blessed. Big things here. I hope you guys are enjoying the live content. Another thing, I'm trying to boost up the YouTube channel. I've seen a pretty decent boost with subscribers on YouTube, but the podcast is where everyone is ranking in. 10,000 downloads we're about to break. Just on Podbean. This week, we are going to break 10,000 downloads. Which reminds me, tonight, me and James McSweeney will be releasing the podcast, Gloves Off, episode number 4. If you don't know who James McSweeney is, man, Ultimate Fighter Season 10's first pick for Rashad, coming over with Brendan Schaub. World champion, kickboxer, legendary kickboxer, by the way, James McSweeney. Hosting a show with him. And you guys can find that on the Pure Evil MMA iTunes channel. So we're about 2 minutes away from the future champ, Dinis Paiva, calling in, Sweetbread. So make sure, if you guys are on Instagram, you're following them at Sweetbread_135. Let me just send him a quick message here. And guys, give me a thumbs up. Like, seriously, if you are enjoying the live shows, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. And let's see what we got going on in the chat room here. Dun, 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 dun. What's up, Danielle? Danielle Carano checking in. Stewie, motherfucking Griffin. I feel that, dog. Shout out from Dan from Oregon. Where's Dan from Oregon? Make sure you guys are following his channel as well. He's doing a lot of live streams. Doing just what we're doing. Shout out to the MMA holes as well. Here's what I love about doing this. Going to these events, the past couple of years, you see people like Ted Check on the show. You see people like the MMA holes, Nolan King on Twitter. And then we're all under one roof. And then, I'm going around doing my show. And then I'm appearing on the MMA holes show. It's just such a cool vibe. I love that. And it's almost like an LA thing. Like, people move out to LA for one reason, and so you can be around like a community of people that are, in the same circles, doing the same thing. Like, I've been watching a lot of Adam 22 lately. All right, here's what is going on, Sweetbread?
How we doing, my man?
I'm doing awesome, bro. And let me start the show off by saying this. Your coach was just on Joe Rogan Experience, man. What's up with that?
Yeah, man. Well, Mark works with the UFC, and he works close with Joe Rogan. They're good friends. I watched the whole thing right away, like almost live. But it was great to see him on there. I know he talked about it before in the past that Joe wanted him on there, and yeah, it was great. It was great to see him in that exposure.
I mean, this year has just been absolutely exciting. Were you able to catch the UFC before we talk any CES? Were you able to catch last night's UFC card?
Dude, I was not. So my wife had some company over, and I entertained them, and we had a great time. It was great dinner and good conversations. But I got to bed at 11 o'clock, and that was it, man. That was my night. And I got to wake up this morning and kind of recap and all the highlights and whatnot.
So I got to ask you, what do you think TJ does next? And what about DJ? I mean, can you believe Cejudo beat DJ?
No, I cannot, man. If you had asked me, I was banking my money on DJ all day. I just didn't think Cejudo was going to bring it to him in a way like that. And it was close, I think, again, the takedowns are what wore in on him and wrecked the points in the eyes of the judges. Again, I didn't see the entire fight, so it's hard for me to say based it off what I'm reading and highlights. But from the feedback I picked up on, it seems like it was close enough to go either direction. But, unfortunately, man, I know it, and sometimes losing is a part of the sport, and I don't think anybody
spoke well enough like DJ in regard to the loss and how he took it. I think everybody should take a couple notes on that when it comes to fighting and taking losses.
Yeah, I was just talking about that. He was like, he immediately gave a shout out and was like, I want to thank my sponsors. And then Henry Cejudo didn't say anything, which I understand he's probably, thrilled and enjoying the moment, but it's just a class act. It looks good on DJ to, represent that way.
Yeah, I mean, how many guys has he gone through and, look what he did for the division and look what he did for the sport and for the UFC. You got to tip your hat. And I think being at that level, you have that understanding of, you know what, every dog has their day. And at some point, you got to think, I've been here for so long. At one moment, it may not be my day. And I think that's what happened with DJ. I think he was there for so long. We saw with Anderson Silva when he fought Chris Weidman.
Oh, yeah.
He got to a point where I'm not going to say he was bored, but that challenge of chasing the thrill of chasing the belt wasn't there like it used to be. That hunger has to subside at least a little bit. And sometimes that's the edge you need, is that hunger to push you more. And I think Cejudo was extremely hungry, man.
Yeah, and it definitely switches things up. I'm a little upset we're not going to see TJ versus DJ. I think that would have been a really exciting fight to put on. But nonetheless, man, UFC's putting on some great cards, and last night's event was amazing. But let's jump into CES 51 that went down. My first question to you about it all is, who really stood out to you the other night?
Man, it was a lot of great fights, man. I think Chris Martino looked really good coming off his first win after back-to-back losses. I trained with him. I've been a fan of the kid since watching him fight in the amateurs, and I reached out to him, and the kid's destined for great things. I know he wants a shot at the belt. Him and I are both pursuing the same thing, but tip my hat off to him. You gotta give Nate credit, Nate Andrews all the credit in the world for continuously finishing fights. It's I don't think he fought a guy that was, at least on paper, on his level so much with Owens. But he's finishing these guys, and he's making a statement every single time he's out,
Chris Martino, man, that first round, did you score that first round for Blackshear? I mean, that was crazy. And I remember people being like, just wait, because Martino cardio is on point. So, and they were right. He was able to turn things around. But that first round was pretty close. I had it 19-19 going into the third.
Yeah, it was definitely one round apiece going into that third round, but it really shows you the heart and the balls of Martino and the resilience of, just keep marching forward and keep sticking to the plan and just keep fighting, man. And that breaks people down after a while. So, again, man, hats off to him. He's just a great young talent, fellow Portuguese man, so I got to respect that. But, a guy I train with, dude, and I'm very supportive of the local talent, whether it's in my division, whether it's, we're chasing the same belt. I'm just supportive of local professional MMA. I'm a fan of the sport, so I'm supportive of everybody around that's doing their thing.
And it's so cool to see guys like, Matt Bassett making a big name for himself in the UFC, Nick Newell getting his shot, Dana White's, all these local guys. It's been an amazing year. It's only a matter of time before you get that shot, man. you are right there. You just got to keep sticking with it.
And my man Andre got the call up to fight Renan Barral, man. And, I thanked him, man. I'll be rooting for him when he's out there. And, right away he said, I'd be there short in due time. And there's been nothing but respect for me and Andre going back and forth. But, yeah, that was definitely the first thing that popped in my mind seeing it. It was like, crap, it could have been, had it, woulda, shoulda, could have been me. But, yeah, you're right, man. I think in due time I'll get my call as long as, I get a couple wins back on my belt. And I'm chasing for that. I'm chasing the CES title within the next year. So whatever they decide to do with me, a couple wins to get another shot, I'm going to do whatever it takes, and hopefully I'll get there eventually, I think.
Well, while we're talking about you, CES does have an upcoming card coming up. Are you going to try to get on that card? Are you going to wait it out till, more towards the end of the year? What's your goal?
No, I want to hop on board. I know they got the card coming up in Philly. I'm not going to be on that card. I'm going to be on, believe, the November card back at Twin River. It's just, for me, with ticket sales and everything else, I think with being at Twin River, I fight out of my backyard. It makes sense financially to fight out of there. But if they were to offer me to go fight, anywhere else, Philly or New York or other locations, I'm a company man, so whatever they decide. But right now, I think we're all on the same page. November 3rd will be the next date for me.
So, obviously, man, there were so many other great fights that were on this card as well. I think one of the best ones on it was Ross the Jamaican Shamrock Hyleton. That KO was straight out of a video game.
It was insane.
The heavyweights, absolutely insane. CES, I always say this. The prelims, like you can tune into a UFC or a Bellator card, and you can get pretty bored during a lot of the prelims. CES, I mean, every fight was finished, the last 2 cards on the prelims.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, you're looking at a lot of young, hungry, up-and-coming talent, and they're all trying to make a name for themselves, and CES is a great promotion, man. They're definitely a top promotion in the Northeast, and anybody that's trying to make a name for themselves. And the thing is, they see these guys fight for CES, and they go to the UFC. It only, cements UFC's name furthermore into the game, and it shows people. So if you do well in this organization, more than likely you're going to get the call up and do well there, as at the UFC level.
So wait, what have you been up to? Since your last fight, just working in the restaurant. I mean, how long did it take for you to really get the itch and jump right back into the gym? What happened
when
after
I
that
tell
fight?
you, so I fought Saturday. I was scheduled in the gym Monday. I'm sorry, I fought Friday night. I left the hospital Saturday morning. I had to get some stitches.
Yeah.
I celebrated and hung out, Saturday, Sunday. I was back in the gym Monday and Tuesday the week after.
That's the way to do it. And I've been seeing that you've been having like a lot of date night and stuff like that. Like man, it looks like you're having a lot of fun, just enjoying life, counting your blessings, which is really the most important part about life, right?
Yeah, dude. I'm super, super blessed to live this life, and I find value in that alone. So, Mark Delagrati, after the loss, listen. I'll be right out honest. I cry when I win. I cry when I lose. So, obviously losing a fight that I felt like I was neck and neck in, and arguably I thought I was up the first 2 rounds, maybe 1 round apiece. Crying in the shower, and the entire night, at least for the few hours afterwards, Mark did not leave my side, and he kept pointing out all my family, all my friends, and everybody that was still rooting for me. And he was like, "This is what you got to be thankful for. Don't dwell on the loss. Be happy you got family. Be happy you got a support system. These people are all here for you. You bring these people here together." And he pointed those things out. And I am a man of values, and that's what I've been spending my time doing now. I'm still training, I'm still working, but I'm enjoying life for my wife and my family, because next camp is right around the corner, and that time becomes limited.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a selfish sport, isn't it? I mean, like you said, time is so limited, and when you get into the training camp, there's a big thing, and this might be a little weird to ask, but, Cody Nolov just came out. He was like, "Man, I haven't had sex in 3 months," and I can kind of understand that. Do you believe in that hype, like not having sex before fights?
2 weeks. 2 weeks out.
2 weeks out.
2 weeks out. 2 weeks out minimal. 2 weeks out, nothing. I can't even look at it. I can't. That's me. Listen, I've had this conversation with other fighters, and some guys are like, "I don't care." Maybe not the night before, but the week of, yeah, sure, go for it. Me, 2 weeks out, minimal. I'm not messing around. I need all the testosterone I can pack into my punch.
It's like a reset button or something that happens. You know what I mean? It's just like your energy's drained. You're just content with what just happened for a little bit.
I tell people I got TKO'd once in my amateur career, and I had some fun the night before. And I got hit and I got wobbled. I fought Rika Dashula, one of my teammates, and that was actually I fought 3 fights in 4 weeks. I fought 1 fight, 2 weeks later I fought, 2 weeks later I fought. So I fought 3 fights in the course of 4 weeks. And on that last fight I ran to Rika Dashula. I was going through kind of a crazy breakup, and doing some partying a week of. Again, amateur career, so you go through these things. But the one TKO loss I had throughout my entire career, almost 30 fights now, was a night that I got involved with shenanigans. So I'll never take the chance again.
Man, it's like you're not as sharp. It needs to be asked, because I've been seeing a lot of people talking about it. Like, whoa, why did Cody bring it up? And I was like, there has to be some truth behind that. You know what I mean? It makes so much sense.
It's the mojo, man. As men, we're aggressive and strong guys, and when you take an element that helps directly build that fierceness within the soul, man. Dude, again, everybody's different. I think you hear about it, guys in Thailand. GSP talked about it on the Rogan podcast. So he was in Thailand, and these guys are getting shit-faced and smoking cigarettes the night before world title fights. Yeah. Just built very differently. Maybe some of it is, superstitions. But for me, happened once, I never do it again, and I never had that issue. And I think I've been hit much, much harder, and I've had more, I've had tougher fights, since that card as an amateur. So I've learned my lesson from there, but everybody's different.
What a good way to end this. That was like the perfect question to end here on. But last but not least, man, do you have an opponent in mind that you have your eyes set on moving forward, or is it just up in the air right now, whatever happens?
No, it's just up in the air, man. I just really want to fight. I want to fight good competition. I'm not a guy to freaking pad my record. I'm not a guy who wants to fight schleps. Obviously, I fight the CES. When it comes time for a fight, my manager sends me an opponent or two opponents. And I don't even like it's almost like the opponent comes, I look at the fight, and I accept the contract. I let CES look for the competition for me. Looking at this last fight with Andre, it probably wasn't the best matchup for me stylistically, but I took it because I wanted the challenge. I don't want to pad my record. I don't want to fight, these tuna cans and try to, make myself look better than I am. And then when you get to the big show, when you get to the high-level competition, you embarrass yourself because you weren't prepared because you didn't fight the top guys getting in there.
And that's when
I understand it.
That's when it really counts, too. That's when it's going to linger.
Of course. And listen, the other argument is a lot of guys say, listen, why am I going to fight a guy that is at the UFC caliber outside of the UFC? I'd rather fight that guy there when the money is supplementing that kind of fight. And I get it. I mean, I get it on both ends. I do feel like as a young prospect, you need to be well managed because as fighters, we're that's what we do. I'm going to fight anybody you put in front of me. And I mean, I'm no better in the sense of like, listen, maybe this isn't the right fight right now. We got to prepare. We got to get a couple camps to work on certain aspects of the game before you fight a guy like this because the chances of you getting exposed in a certain area maybe greater or something. I get all that, but at a certain point, if you're 4, 5, 6-0, then you can't be fighting guys with losing records at that point, or guys that are barely over 500. Like, you got to fight guys that are at your level or above, so that you can really test yourself before you get embarrassed at a high level. Again, man, everybody's different,
Man, and even your fight that you had before that was just like two upcoming guys, like right on par. Like, it just makes sense, and that's what the fans want to see because they know. You know what I mean? Like they can tell when there's like a big experience gap, and they can tell when there's two sharp guys in there that are actually putting on a great performance equally, and both guys have an equal chance to win the fight. Like that's what it's all about. That's what's gonna get you to the edge of your seat.
Exactly, man. Like I'm more motivated by a challenge than I am. But like if I look at an opponent, I'm like, I'm gonna walk through this guy. My camp's not gonna be where it needs to be. I'm not gonna get better fighting a guy that I just know in my mind I'm going to run through. There's a difference of looking at someone and saying, you know what, that guy's really good, but I know I can beat him, but I got to challenge myself, and I got to train hard. And that's what it was when I looked at Andre. It was like, here's a guy that's got good striking. He's knocking people out left and right. He's coming with a good boxing background. If there's something I like to be, like, those are the kind of guys I want to fight. So, going into this next fight, whoever CES plans and says, hey, here's the opponent, we do a little bit of research and sign a contract and cash a check.
Hey, man, and before I let you go, and before you get to your next fight, I got to come out to the restaurant and do a little interview with you out there. Got to make that happen.
Man, it's good, especially before I got to get super skinny, dude. I got a good few weeks left where I can not really go crazy with my diet. But yeah, you're looking at least within 10 weeks of the announced date. Like definitely, yeah, I'm on that shred bread grind. Yeah, just gotta slim down. I'm known to get kind of heavy. I got kind of heavy after this last fight, and my weight's going back down now with consistent training. But yeah, I could probably make a career at 45 with my size, especially getting up to 70, 75 outside of training. But I can make the weight at 35. I've shown that, and I compete well there. So that's where I plan to stay until I can't.
Sweetbread, thank you so much for calling in to Pure Evil MMA. It means a lot. It's an honor to have you on once again. Another guy that you guys need to keep your eyes on. These are the future of the sport right here. So thank you, Sweetbread. I appreciate it. Have a blessed night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, my man. God bless. Thank you for having me, man. Pleasure's mine.
There you go, Sweetbread. This show's running smooth here. I mean, putting all this together, Friday, and we're here on Sunday. Going pretty smooth. Everyone calling in. Like, usually you kind of have to chase after the fighters. Fighters are very hard to pin down. Even Devin Powell. I mean, he's not supposed to be calling in for another, I think, like 20 minutes or something like that. And I believe 7:20. Coach Andrew Calandrelli. This is perfect. This is running right on par. Right on par here. Let me see what's going on in the chat. So we're 4 minutes out from Coach Calandrelli. After that, we're going to be joined by Double MB, Marissa Messer, the Spider Monkey, Valencia. Like, it's such a long name, and I was cracking up in the recap show with everybody. I was like, I'm just calling her Double MB. That's it. Double MB. Come on. That rolls off the tongue. Represent New Haven. New Haven going home with 2 wins this weekend at CES. Big wins between Blair Tugman, who also trains under Andrew Calandrelli, and Marissa, man. I mean, bringing home 2 W's. It just means a lot. Before I went live, I was like, I don't need a water, because you guys usually see me drinking my Red Bull or whatever, but I almost did the show without any liquids. It would have fucked me up. I will tell you that much. All right, so let's get Coach Andrew Calandrelli on the line here. And I like what he said about, I like what Sweetbread said about, being motivated for your next opponent. Take the old belt off. Oh my God. Oh, shouldn't have sat in the seat. Oh, this seat's the worst. I got like a shitty Walmart chair here instead of my brand new studio chair, which is right here in front of me. I don't know why I didn't get that over here, but fucking bad cramp in my fucking leg right now. Let's get Coach Calandrelli. But I like what Sweetbread was saying about, having to be motivated for a fight. And with Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, going through all the competition, not having anyone to really fight, having to take rematches because there's no one else left, it's got to kind of drain you after a while. Be like, this is getting old. And it was a good comparison, comparing him to Anderson Silva, who at that point in his career was kind of getting bored. Do you think that was, the case with Mighty Mouse or not so? Let me know on Twitter, evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. And also on Instagram at PureEvilMMA_. And if you guys haven't heard yet, I'm on Facebook as well at PureEvilMMA_S. Yeah, my little cousin's awesome. Just wanted to come by, jump in the pool. I mean, it was 90 degrees out here. It's been beautiful out, but, man, Connecticut gets, like, apathy always raps about it. It's like, the change in weather's got our brains on even. The change in season's got our brains on even. It really does. I mean, you can never get comfortable in Connecticut. It's always too hot or too cold. Maybe I just complain too much. All right, Coach Calandrelli. Crap, almost forgot. When do you want me to call? Coach, almost forgot. Here, let me just tell him. Hey, just a 5-minute call. Call now. If you can. All right, let's see what he says here. I love doing these live shows because, you can't cut this shit out. You guys are witnessing real. Anything can happen. And by the way, I think my basement's haunted. Like, I don't know how many times this has happened, but I'm trying to do a new documentary. Not a documentary, but like a web series or whatever. And I was talking about some personal stuff about people I've lost in my life. As I'm saying that, the photo right here falls off the wall, and I have it on the GoPro. Like, it's weird. It's weird. I will upload that. For you guys shortly, along with the live action fight companion, which I can't wait. So the Lion Fight 45 fight companion was a lot of fun to put together, but now that I knew what I was doing here, wait till you guys see this. Probably the best thing I've ever made in my entire life, as far as editing and working on new projects and stuff like that. And I'm trying to branch off. I love doing the interviews, I love doing the live streams, but I'm trying to be a little bit more creative and get some new content out there for you guys that you haven't seen before, that you're not going to get on every other channel. Let's see. Hey, why is my ex-girlfriend texting me? Oh, bueno. Probably about the girls, probably about the rats. Let's get Andrew call in here. All right, he's about to call in right now. And just a little backstory about Andrew Calandrelli before he calls in. Andrew Calandrelli trained Nick Newell at a young age, I think out of high school. Nick corrected me on this the other night. He said, no, I started at FAA, then I started training with Andrew for a while, and then I switched back to go back to FAA because it just wasn't working out or whatever. I mean, it happens. But Nick Newell trained with Andrew Calandrelli, and here he is, New Haven, Connecticut. Coach Andrew Calandrelli calling in. What's going on, Coach?
Hello?
Hey, what's going on, Andrew? How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I mean, what a huge weekend for you guys between Marissa getting the win, Double MB bringing home a W to New Haven, and also Blair Tugman. I mean, going into that fight, where were you guys' heads at here? Because I've been seeing you being like, should we give Marissa a break here or not? So first, is that where your head's at? Are you going to give her a break after this one?
Over, but she definitely needs like a couple weeks just to chill. She's going on vacation to Las Vegas, so she's going to relax out. So she's been working nonstop since her physical therapy started from hip surgery. Ever since physical therapy, all the way through all these training camps, she hasn't really taken a break.
Well, you keep cutting out for a second there, Coach, but
I think you think that's for this.
But also Blair, man. Let's talk about Blair, because when I was at the gym with you, talking with you guys, you know, Blair obviously and you both part of Bellator for a long time now. Why don't you think you want Marissa going over to Bellator, and you're happy with her here at CES?
Blair has treated Blair, but
here, let's hang up and try this again. I don't know what's going on there, but let's try this one more time. Here, let me get this going. One more time. There we go. Hey, yeah, you cut out for a second there, Coach.
I can hear you better now, actually.
So yeah, obviously, pick right back up.
I wanted us to do some of the small shows and stuff, and a bigger organization actually developed a atom weight class. You know, Invicta is an option, and I've talked to them, so you know we might end up going over Bellator. They just want to use her for some ticket sales on the undercard, and she's not really interested in that too much.
Yeah,
if they want a 105-pound division crown a champion, then I would talk to them if the money.
And Invicta's got a really good card coming out for Invicta FC 31. Is there any way you think you'd get her on there? I think that's like September 1st. Maybe that card's already...
Wait, so Marissa was actually with a pretty big injury in her neck this last fight camp. 2 weeks ago, she couldn't even move. Wow. So she has to let that rest. She's been to physical therapy and a chiropractor, so now she's going to give it a little break.
And it's so funny, man. Like, I guess I live close to her because I always see her running up and down the road. Like, she's nonstop. I mean, just the story that she's had here and everything that she's going through, getting the win. Let's talk a little bit about her fight here. She gets the submission in the third round. Very dominant performance there. Where were you guys at going into that second round?
I studied Kiana's fights, and I knew that she had nothing at all for Marissa on the ground. I did study Kiana a lot. I knew she had a really good right hand, which she threw in the fight. So our game plan was to strike with her a little, get the clinch. I saw she wasn't that good in the clinch. Take her down and be on top, because I saw that she really didn't have much to offer in the grappling. Even though she is a purple belt, she didn't seem too well-versed on the ground. So in the second round, Marissa did go for a couple of Americanas and straight arm bars, but, you know, Kiana was pretty flexible. So we actually knew about the spin back fist she likes to go for, too, and Marissa ended up catching her back and finishing her. So...
yeah, I gave the second round a 10-8 to Marissa. I had the first round 10-9 to Double MB, the second 10-8. Going into that third round, I was like, she's so close to getting that finish. And then, bam, the rear naked choke slips in there, I believe, at 1 minute 1 second there.
Marissa is all about the finish. She's not trying to win rounds at all. She tries to finish the fight the whole time. So, the only time she's ever fought to even think about winning rounds was that night she got really sick and she had her last amateur fight. Besides that, she was trying to finish right when the bell rings.
So obviously she gets the win, and then you had Blair going next. Were you in Blair's corner? Because I don't.
Yep.
You were in Blair's corner. Man, he looked so ripped. He looked like a freaking action figure walking out. Like I've never seen.
Really good regular shape. He did take the fight on short notice, and he wasn't able to get gym that much. But Blair's grappling shape but he didn't get into sparring and stuff. It was a beautiful, unbelievable first 2 rounds. His timing of those takedowns and is just epic. 99% of the world wish they can do something like that. I wish I can. His timing on his takedowns are just unbelievable. But his cardio was not what it was in the past couple of fights you've seen, just because it was a short notice fight. You didn't get that much sparring and stuff.
And you know what, man? Obviously, it was like a coming home party for Blair Tugman. It felt like we were all talking about it on press tour. We're like, it just felt like he was right back at home here for CES in front of the crowd.
Yeah, and he'd love a title shot over there. He'd love to fight for the 145-pound belt.
Is that what he's saying? He's saying he wants the title next. I heard somebody say that.
Yeah, that's what he said after the fight.
Jeez, oh man. So who is the featherweight champ at CES? Because I believe he just went to the UFC.
Yeah, somebody. No, I see. That's I heard. So, for making I'm not familiar with the 2 kids who though.
You know what? Blair's got such a recognizable name as well. That would be a pretty cool pickup for him to go in there and get that shot there. And Shane Manley is no slouch either for 4-3. So it's definitely a good night for New Haven. So
he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, so we were expecting some decent grappling exchanges.
So, Andrew, moving forward here, I mean, you got Blair at his gym. You got Marissa working there. Who else do you got at the gym right now that we should keep our eye on? Because obviously there's a lot of, names that, are coming out over there.
I have a big time 205-pounder that's going to hit the scene and make a big noise. His name is Hilarie. He's a kid from Russia. He's been living in this country for about 6 years now. And he's already a heavyweight New England Golden Gloves champ. He's got hands like Mike Tyson. Like he one-punch knockout power in his grappling. He wins tournaments every other week. You've probably seen me post about him.
Yeah.
But I expect him to, he's probably the most talented to work with. Sport.
And I believe he just won a boxing title with you as well a couple weeks ago, right?
Competed once about two.
So, Coach, I actually got your student calling in right now. I got Marissa calling in right now. I want to thank you so much for calling into Pure Evil MMA, and I have to come down there and do the interview with you, just me and you. Does that sound good? I think we lost Andrew. Coach.
All right, thank you.
Have a good one. Connection was a little weak there. Let's get Marissa on the phone.
Hello?
Hey, what's going on? Double MB in the house. What's going on?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing good. I just got off the line with your coach, and it sounds like he finally is saying that you're going to get a little break here now that you got the W. I mean, you've been nonstop the past, few months here.
Yes, I think I've earned a mini break.
So how long of a break are you taking? Because he was talking a little bit about Invicta. I mean, it sounds like he's got some plans working for you. I mean, between you and Blair, just putting on the amazing performances that you did, the excitement's there, but come on, you've been so active lately. You definitely need a little break. But
not much of a break. I'm gonna take it easy this week, and then I'm gonna train for fun. That's what I mean by break. I never stop training.
I know, and I was just telling the audience here, I was like, I always see, like, you must live pretty close to where I live, because when I'm up in the morning going to get breakfast or coffee, there you are running up the road. I'm like, that's double MB, and I whip out my phone and like I tag you, and you must see it and be like, this kid's shot.
No, it's flattering,
It's hilarious, man. Like, obviously you got so much going on. You're training right down the road. I mean, New Haven is such it's not really known from the fighting scene, especially for females, and you're really making a big name for yourself. And now that you got this win for CES, going 2-0, you got 2 submissions. I mean, big things happening. So let's jump into your fight. Going into that second round, your coach was just like, she's always looking for the finish. But I scored the first 10-9 and the second 10-8. Were you guys like on that same level, or are you not really following it like that?
No, I mean, I just kind of look at it like, how much space did I give her to feel comfortable, because I try to go in and shut down whatever hope she had. They're going out the window. So, like, in the first round, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, she was able to survive a little bit more, and then, once the bell rang in the second round, I could see where she had some holes, and I had to capitalize on it.
And it was really cute. Devin Powell was sitting next to me, or in front of me, and he had his little girl with him. And it was so cool to see the little girl watching your fight being like, Daddy, why is she taking the back? Like, it was really something else. Like, I always say this, like, in 1997, you go to baseball games. In 2018, we go to MMA events. Like, it's just so cool to see. But getting the finish there, was that something that, like, you felt you needed to happen going in that third round?
I wanted to finish her sooner, and I was pissed because I would get, her arm totally locked up, and then, she'd wiggle out of it, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, anybody else, it would have been a wrap, and then, so I just saw the opening, and I was like, all right, well, a choke, you're not, you know what I mean? You're not wiggling as easily out of that as you can, straighten your arm or turn it, this and that, and so I didn't know I was definitely going to get it, but I was looking for a finish, so.
And this is at atom weight, so obviously there's not many, promotions that have atom weight. Would you be interested in going to Invicta next, or how did you enjoy CES? Is that somewhere, you feel comfortable, fighting back there?
CES was nice, but I love fighting for Kip and reality fighting. Karen's good too, as well to me, and Premier. So I don't care about names. I don't care where I'm at, as long as people are good to me and I can put on a show for them, because I know I'm not ordinary, and I know that I can go big places, and I know I'm going to go big places. So if they're good to me, I will be good to them, and I bring people in, and I sell a bunch of tickets, and, I have a following. So like I'm saying, whoever's good to me, I can be good to them.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of it is, especially for you guys. Like, selling tickets is a huge part for a lot of the promotions to get you, to get people in the seats. And then, places like Bellator, they have their issues, but it's still like a good promotion to be under. But right now, I think CES is a perfect fit for you. You had the crowd going crazy. I mean, the second fight of the night, I mean, those are huge accomplishments. And Rain is not an easy girl to beat either. Like you said, she was not getting the submission at all. Like, she was just like,
relentless. I know she's never been finished before, so I knew she wasn't going to be easy to finish, but I wanted to try. And I didn't, for this fight, because it was my third fight, unfortunately, like, I didn't sell as many tickets as the other two, and since it was a little bit further away, my brother just had a baby this past week, my mother had surgery, you know what I mean? Like, so there's shit going on that, I couldn't bring in all the normal people that I would, but moving forward, it'll be right up there with everybody else.
A matter of fact, I think your brother texted me during the fights, and I missed his message. He was asking me if I could record the event. Were you able to watch your fight back yet?
No, I wanted to know if CES was going to put up the actual footage, because I want to see, like, legit what it looked like, because I was proud of my performance. I was, I landed clean strikes. I got in, I got takedowns, and I want to be able to rewatch it, on their real footage.
What did anything surprise you about her game? Like you said, she's a very tough opponent. She's definitely flexible, but was there anything about her that you're just like, wow, this girl's, pretty good at this? What stood out about her performance to you?
well, she had, I knew going into it, she had a good right hand, and she had a overhand right that, slipped in there a few times, and I just knew I had to keep up that front hand of mine, and I knew that once we started throwing, I knew I was a better striker than her, because I'm not just jiu-jitsu. I have beat top girls boxing. Like, I know how to throw my hands too. So, I wasn't expecting to stand with her, but I knew I was better than her on the feet. And then, yes, the course was, try to take her down. That was the game plan, take her down, submit her. So I was very happy that all of the above, check. I executed what I was supposed to do. So
you got the W. Now you go backstage, and now Blair's fighting, I believe, like 2 fights after you. What was going on in those moments leading up to Blair's fight? How are you feeling there? Were you still nervous? I mean, you just fought, you got the win, but it's like, oh, my teammate's next. Like, was there a little anxiety there?
No, and I don't even get all nervous for myself. I'm fully confident in, my training and preparation and my coach. So I don't get like that. It's just another day in the job. This is what I do with my life. This is all I do with my life. So you just, put the boots on and you keep walking.
Yeah.
But, and I knew Blair, he can handle himself. So I was, I just hoping that he can pull through, and he did. So
I couldn't even believe, like, I just told Andrew this. I was like, Blair literally looked like an action figure. Like, he looked so ripped. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, he's got the muscles going on.
Literally looked like a freaking WWF action figure. I was like, holy shit. And now he's saying that he wants the title next. What do you think about that call out?
Yeah, good for him. Go for it.
Yeah, I would love to see him get that shot. It was really like a homecoming. So my last question to you here before we let you go is, what did you guys do afterwards to celebrate? Did you just come right home, or what did you guys do?
I went to actually where the weigh-ins were, Wicked Good Sports Bar, and I had an awesome burger and sweet potato fries. And it was the only good meal I had up there all weekend, so I was pumped. It was a nice celebratory meal.
Please tell me you got like a dessert too for yourself or something. Did you treat splurge?
No, so I didn't get like a legitimate dessert, but the day before at the weigh-ins when they were like feeding everybody, me and Blair didn't eat there, but we're both like, all right, we're gonna take a cookie for tomorrow night. So when I finally got back to my hotel room, I texted him and I said, I'm eating my victory cookie right now. And it was so much more worth it that I saved it and didn't eat it after weigh-ins, and I just had one wrapped up in a napkin, and it was a feeling of accomplishment. I love cookies, and I had earned it, so I was happy.
This is really my last question. When you got home, was your cat going crazy? I've been seeing that on your gram lately, like the cat climbing up your curtains and just being crazy.
They're doing that as we speak. They're literally doing that as we speak. And yeah, no, they were pretty crazy because I wasn't home for 2 days, and I had somebody stop here just to, make sure they had food, and I thought they like got drugged or something because they were nuts for a few hours once I got home. I think they were just pissed that I left them for, 2 days.
I absolutely love it, and I really love that we got to come home with 2 W's riding off of your coattail and Blair's over with Coach Calandrelli. Man, Marissa, where can everybody find you on social media? I don't think you're on Twitter, but you're definitely on Instagram. What's your Instagram tag?
I'm on Twitter as well, but my Instagram is just real Spider Monkey. And
then what's your Twitter? That's right, you do have Twitter.
My Twitter, that would be sorry. It's at Spider Monkey MMB.
Double MB. Thank you so much for calling in and getting a W, bringing it back home to New Haven. We got to talk to you soon. Maybe I'll come back down to the gym. I really want to talk to Yuri. I mean, he's another big up-and-comer.
Yuri's up there. Yuri's going places. As long as he keeps his head on track, he's going places. And so far, he's doing good. So
I can't wait to see what happens. Marissa, Double MB, thank you so much. Have a great night and stay blessed.
All right, thank you very much.
Here we go. What a great show tonight. We got one more guest, guys. I know I see your comments in there. This is definitely a long show, but I got a surprise guest coming up next. We got a UFC fighter calling in. We got Mr. Devin Powell, a matter of fact, going to be calling in just a moment here. Let me see. I got the chat room, Pure Evil MMA chat room going on here with Jody saying something, but I need to get back to her on that. Let me get Devin Powell. Hey, Devin. You can call in now if you could. We are ready. But like I was saying, like meeting up, like going to these events and being around, the MMA holes and, Brian Gerson, a new kid coming up. Nolan King, you guys might know from Twitter, who releases a lot of big news. Devin's typing back right here. Hopefully call in. Just And it really reminds me of, going out to Las Vegas. Why do a lot of movie stars and podcasters move out to Las Vegas? It's because they want to be around that scene. And, going to these events, there's another... Oh, wait, what? Oh, snap. We got our headliner calling in right here. We got UFC's Devin Powell. What's going on, Devin?
Not too much yourself.
I'm doing awesome, man. So let me start here. First off, you, your wife, and your little girl were sitting in front of me. I didn't want to bother you, obviously, because you're there to enjoy the show. But, bringing the little girl there I thought was so cool because the entire time she was asking you questions. I mean, did you get her into classes or anything yet? Or what? How old is she, first off?
Yeah, she's 6. She's a gray belt in jiu-jitsu. She's been training for pretty much since she's been under a year old. She's kind of been messing around on the mats. Really day one of her being born, she was in the academies and stuff. So, yeah, she trains jiu-jitsu. She does some kickboxing as well. I don't know if she'll ever want to fight or anything like that. Hopefully not, because I don't think I can handle that kind of stress. But yeah, she's always been around it. So we brought her to the fight so she could watch. She knew there was some girls and stuff, so she was excited, a lot more excited. And I'm getting ready for a fight. She doesn't like that at all.
Oh, I could only imagine. And do you explain to her this is my job, it's a sport, no one's gonna seriously get hurt, even though that is a possibility, obviously. But have you had this talk with her, obviously?
Yeah, I try and make sure she understands that it's just it's just a job, and that at the end of the day, we still have the academy, we still have our family, and this is just a little added income, and something that I truly enjoy doing. So I just try and look for her support, win or lose, and I just hope that she's always proud of what I'm trying to accomplish.
Does she go to your fights and your wife's fights?
No, she doesn't. We try and keep her from watching them until it's safe to peek her head out, kind of.
Yeah, I could definitely see how that would be traumatic for a little girl, but it's kind of cool, man. When she was asking you, I believe it was for either Hilarie's fight or Marissa's fight, she was like, why is she taking the back? And you were right there, giving her the answer. I was like, wow, this is something else right here to be witnessing. So that was definitely really cool. Who are you guys there to support? Were you, rooting on for Hilarie? Is that who you were there for?
Yeah, we trained with Hilarie and Jimmy, both at her boyfriend's Jimmy Mac at Lozon's, and my wife likes training with Hilarie a lot when I'm training with Joe and Jimmy. So we were definitely there for them. And then there was just obviously a ton of great fights. I always am going to support people from Maine, so it's good to see Ras and Bruce do well. So yeah, that was mostly it, though. We just wanted to see some good fights. I wasn't too close to anyone, but I definitely like seeing the Mainers do well.
And you know what? CES puts on great events. The prelims are all finishes. You just brought up Ross. That was straight out of a video game watching that knockout. That was something else right there.
Yeah, that was intense. It was a crazy fight. It was back and forth. Ross was on the ropes a bit, and he pulled off a huge win over a really tough guy.
So tonight, the only fight I really haven't spoken about was definitely the comeback of the night with Bruce Pretty Boy Boyington. What did you think about that, man? Because that was really something else. I mean, he came from behind I've never seen before.
Yeah, it was a testament to his will, and his determinedness to get the job done. He was stuck in some bad spots, really bad spots, and he just didn't quit. He kept. He was hanging on for dear life, but he had no quit in him. I think he's just, I think he's a tough guy that, is willing to go through whatever it takes to try and get his hand raised. And he managed to get on the back and spectacular finish in the second round, which was really inspiring to watch. You know, a guy from Maine who's been at it for a long time, who's you know, he's not the youngest fighter anymore either. I think he may be 40 by now, 39, 40, and he's still plugging away through injuries and through thick and thin.
You know, what did you think about, you know, all those spins and stuff like that? Because at this level, like, you can get away with that, but when you get to like where you're at right now, like, it's a little harder to, you know, perform that way and try to pull something like that off. What were you thinking when he was doing that, like nonstop, like spin, like every 2 seconds it seemed?
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, until you lose because of it, I guess you can keep going for it. I think he was getting low kicked really hard by a good low kicker, and it was turning him, so I wanted to spin every single time. I think he wanted to land the back fist, just wasn't getting the right extension on it, I don't think. But yeah, you know, it's one thing to kind of show it and then throw something else, and to you know, find the right opening to land it, but it seemed like a handful of them landed to the body pretty good. I think he might have thrown one of those wheel kicks that he had some success in a little while back, but I don't think he landed too clean. But yeah, I think it's just one of the tough things when you've had such a spectacular finish with a kick like that. Really want to keep going back to the pool, and it's tough. I think maybe you can go back and look at it and see how many times he chambered the hips over and went for those spinning techniques, and maybe start switching it the other direction or setting it up to throw something else to make somebody think he's spinning and then landing something else. But, you know, at the end of the day, he get the job done, and it was an awesome finish. But, yeah.
So, Devin, before we talk about, you know, what you got going on, were you able to catch the UFC fights last night between – first, you know, Cejudo winning over Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson? Did you catch that?
I actually didn't. My buddy just got married, so I was out all night. I watched some of the highlights this morning. I saw the Garbrandt finish, and I saw the Cub Swanson one, and then I just saw the decision, which really, like, it shook me. You know, it's crazy, the dude that get talked about so little for so long finally get knocked off his throne. Where it's like all you wanted was everybody to, well, for me, I just wanted everybody to look at him the way they looked at some of the bigger guys, because he just had the craziest reign of all time, and it was just spectacular to watch every single time. And then I heard it was a close fight. One person that spoke to me, my brother, said he thought that he got robbed, but I also saw some people saying it was a totally fine decision. Really have no clue, but it was sucks to see him down.
Yeah, man. I mean, ever since that division opened, he's been in charge of everyone. You know what I mean? And it's kind of hard. Like, there's no one else really left to fight. You're giving guys another chance. And Henry Cejudo just had an entire season to literally train other guys how to beat Mighty Mouse. And he got a second shot. And, man, he wore it. He definitely deserved it, man. That was
it's because I feel like not too long ago, I was just watching Mighty Mouse recovering from, I think, shoulder surgery, and then it seemed like the second he was healthy, he was in a fight camp. So I sort of wonder if he, you know, had enough time to train and to feel good before entering into an actual fight camp, or if it was all kind of a rushed thing.
And I wonder how motivated he was as well. I mean, Sweetbread was just on like 2 seconds ago before you called in. And he was like, you know, if you look at Anderson Silva, where he was at in that Chris Weidman fight, he was just kind of bored at that point. Like, there was no competition up to par with him. And, yeah, he kind of risked it with, you know, what he was doing. Do you think that Mighty Mouse might have felt the same way on some level of just like, you know, there's no one on my level?
I don't know. I think Cejudo had a bad showing their first fight. And I think any Olympic caliber wrestler that's been knocking people out is just can be a nightmare fight. I think Mighty Mouse's only problem we ever saw was his fight with I guess Dodson hurt him a couple times, and then he took over once the fight got going, you know, a little bit deeper. But he had some problems with McCall on just you know, like a little bit of like control in the grappling exchanges. I don't know if Cejudo used his wrestling. I was kind of expecting him to try and take him down, hold him down, but I honestly don't know how it played out. But he just hit a bad outing their first time, and I think he's a lot better now. So I definitely hope that Mighty Mouse would have another crack at him. It would make no sense if he didn't.
I agree. I 100% agree. I mean, he gave him the rematch. It's time to get the rubber match now. There's really no other fight. Well, there is Marlon. There's Marlon who's floating in a Sun Sao. Or no, that's a weight division above here. I'm talking about TJ Dillashaw here getting the title. Do you think Mighty Mouse kind of screwed up here? Should he have taken that fight with TJ and instead of the rematch with Cejudo?
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked that.
Yeah.
And the way that TJ makes it seem is that he could go down, which would be crazy. But, yeah, I mean, when Mighty Mouse is maybe thinking financially, going up and having champ versus champ is always a good look. A rematch, which probably didn't sell great the first time, because that's, again, the unfortunate thing with Demetrius is just doesn't get the love and respect that I think he definitely deserves. But yeah, it's just, who knows, TJ's great too. He could have caught him and beat him. He's definitely going to be bigger than him. But, at this point, I mean, there's no way that Demetrius would say, that it wasn't you would have to think that it was a bad to not take it, considering he lost his belt anyways.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into talking about your fight, man, because I heard that you really want to fight John Gunther, and I just had Gunther on the show. He said he would be down for that. Why are you calling Gunther out? What do you see in him that, intrigues you?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly the fact that, like, I've had a couple fights now. The first one, I was, I fought on the Dana White Looking for a Fight show, and I tore my knee, and I broke my nose, and I was hurt before I even got that opportunity. I fought for World Series of Fighting, and I fought and won the NEF title, and I was beat up. My back was messed up. I couldn't bend over, touch my toes, and I was trying to take a break, and then the opportunity knocked where I could fight in front of Dana White, and I had to take it, of course. But I was trying to take some serious rehab to get my body working again, and then in that fight, it hurt even more. By the time I was finishing up with physical therapy and rehabbing a torn knee, I was already in a fight camp for my first UFC fight, and they just tell me who you're fighting, it happens. And then the next fight that I got, like probably 7-8 months after that, it was pretty long layoff. I was getting ready for my wedding. I was in like party mode, just planning the wedding. And then I had a Jiu-Jitsu Globetrotters camp I was going off to teach in Maine. And, but somebody called me out on Twitter, and they're just like, saying they wanted to fight me. So I just said, I don't know how to use Twitter, but I know how to sign contracts. So, and then all of a sudden I had a fight coming up while I was preparing for my wedding. So timing obviously probably wasn't even smart there. I finally got this fight after 13 months of training and asking and begging for it. I got the job done, and I just felt like taking initiative for once to try and get a fight that makes sense was a good call. I just think that it's really, more than anything, it's the fact that he's a marketable guy who just got a win in the UFC, who was on the Ultimate Fighter, so a lot of people are going to know who he is. Just trying to align myself with things that make sense, like business-wise, and just managing myself as a fighter. And I think we could have a great fight. I just think he's a solid fighter, solid grappler, and he's just durable as all hell. So I think that we could put a burner on for sure. Yeah. So I just, more than anything, he's been in the public's eye a lot, and he's coming off a win. And I think it's a challenging fight, and I think that people like to see it.
Yeah, man, I would love to see that fight, and you're totally right. He's an interesting guy too, so that would be that would definitely be on my radar. But before we let you go here, you have literally touched every guy's heart out there, man. With what happened to you not too long ago with Joe Lozon, in that low blow, I have to comment on it. How did that heal up? Because that's everyone's worst fear.
Yeah, it was a terrible incident. We were just doing jiu-jitsu, and I never wear my cup doing jiu-jitsu. And Joe was trying to pass my guard, and his knee slid and ruptured my testicle. So I don't do any training whatsoever. Even teaching kids classes, I wear my Diamond MMA cup now because it's just there's no way I'm going to risk that same kind of injury, no matter how light the training is. But yeah, it happened. I took 2 days before I went to be seen because I just thought that it was going to heal, and it was just a sensitive area. And then finally I got seen, and I was told I was having emergency surgery.
Ooh.
They had to cut some of it out and stitch it up. We get permanent stitches in there now. And then after that, I had a couple days off, and then I went back to the gym, and I was being very, very light on my feet, or actually really heavy on my feet. I wasn't moving my feet, just trying to touch mitts very, very carefully and just kind of get back into the gym just so that I could stay positive. And a month after the surgery is when I was cleared to start really training again. So yeah, that's kind of how it played out. And then a month went by, and as I was getting back in, I was offered a short notice fight against Evan Dunham with only 30 days notice to train for it. And I put my name in the hat, as I'm sure plenty of other 155ers did, because I was in a position where I didn't know if I'd have another fight with the UFC. And then it just ended up going to someone else. And then days kept going by, I kept training, kept getting healthier and physically recovering from all that. And then finally I got my fight that actually happened.
Last but not least, was it kind of crazy to see how this story blew up? Like who was reaching out to you first off? Who reached out to you when all that happened? Because it seemed like it took the MMA community by storm.
Yeah, there was a lot. It was ironic because I found out I was having surgery. I was put on a stretcher to be taken out by the ambulance to go to York Hospital to have the emergency surgery, and I just told my wife, was like, hey, take a picture of us real quick so I can make a post. And I did, and it just blew up. I wasn't expecting all of that to happen, but I had TMZ reach out to me right after I had the surgery. I did an interview in the hospital bed. I had Barstool Sports doing articles. Jim Rome interviewed me. Ariel Helwani interviewed me. A bunch of others. It was pretty wild. I was very appreciative of the press because it's one thing just to get hurt and then be alone recovering, but I did everything I could to make the best of it and to try and stay positive, and I think it did nothing but good as far as trying to help me get my next fight. So if I my ankle or something, nobody would have known, or no one would have. So.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. How crazy is that, man? It's just hilarious. And obviously, you're still up and going, and we're trying to get this fight with John Gunther. So hopefully we can get that to go through. I have to thank you so much, first off, for being a nice quiet couple in front of me that wasn't, being crazy. You guys were just chilling like you were in your living room at the event. So I got to thank you for that. And then last but not least, man, thank you for joining us here at Pure Evil MMA. It was really cool to hear your insight on this story and hear you call out John Gunther. And, hopefully we can get that to go down.
Yeah, for sure. I think it would be a cool fight, and I'm not one to talk trash. I don't have any animosity towards him. He was actually probably my favorite person to watch on the show. But our job is to fight, and having the ability to try and match up a fight that you think could be exciting, and maybe we could both walk away with $50,000 after extra. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
That, and also you can get your little girl to go to the alpaca farm. He does the alpaca thing.
Yeah.
So we got that in the books. Devin, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a blessed night, and thank you for coming on Pure Evil MMA.
Anytime. Take care, man.
There you go. What a show, guys. There it is. It's a wrap. In the books. Woo! The fight reaction to CES 51. Man, let's just a quick shout out. Starting the show off with Hilarie Rose, then Fabio Cherant, then Sweetbread calling in, then Coach Andrew Calandrelli, then Double MB, and then UFC's Devin Powell. Within 2 hours. This was a very successful show. put it together last minute. I'm very happy that it all worked out. Ran smooth. Everyone called in on time. I didn't have to chase anybody down. Everybody's participating. This is, I just feel blessed. I'm so thankful. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I know I'm trying to grow the YouTube channel, and I've definitely been seeing, a little boost, but, man, we are killing it on Podbean and iTunes and Spotify. I got to thank all of our listeners out there that tune in every week. I'm releasing about 2 shows a week. And then, quick reminder before I let you guys go. Tonight, it is the 5th. And on the 6th, episode 4 of Gloves Off will be up on YouTube under Gloves Off. It is not under Pure Evil MMA. It's under the Pure Evil MMA, iTunes, and, the podcast form. But on YouTube, you have to search for Gloves Off. Last episode is one of the best podcasts I think I've ever done in my life with James McSweeney. He literally throws Mike Swick under the bus, roasts Mike Swick so I was literally speechless. I didn't even know if I was a little hesitant about sharing it. But shout out to BLT for making the highlight video of that. If you guys want to check out that video, just type in BLT MMA, and he put together that highlight video of just the Mike Swick rant. Absolutely hilarious. You can check that out on iTunes, Podbean, under Pure Evil MMA if you want to check out the entire podcast. But episode 4, brand new, coming at you in just a matter of hours. Guys, I'm Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA, mymmanews.com. I got a whole bunch going on. Not this weekend, but next weekend, I will be back out in Rhode Island covering Cage Titans for Chris O'Brien. He's going to be trying to become the champ over at Cage Titans. That's going to be a lot of fun. Also tonight, I'm working on getting the live action fight companion up, where literally you guys come on the adventure from the ride up with me to all the action that happened at CES, in between round highlights, the best moments. We have MMA holes, in between round reaction, Nolan King, Brian Gerson, Steven Domenico, Travis Lazote. There's even a point where the champ comes in and literally hands me the fucking belt. That happened. That is going to be up in just a little bit. I'm having a blast with all this new content. To any hater out there, this one's for you. And to everybody out there waking up, grinding, passionate, loving what's going on in the MMA scene, you know how I like to end the show. Without evil, there's no purity. White knuckles to the end, guys. Behave yourselves. Oh, last but not least, merchandise. Teespring.com/pureevilmerch. I'm out of here. Peace.